All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Behind Sports. Thanks for coming on the show and taking your time. Today's guest is Mr. Kyle Mauch, who is the CEO of Athletes Brand. Kyle, thanks, man, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, so I'd love for you to go a little bit more in depth and talk to everybody and, let us get to know you a little bit, talk about your past and, kind of what your athletic background is and then what you're working on today.
Of course. Yeah, I'm a small town kid. I grew up in Oregon. My dad played some professional baseball, and all my brothers played college baseball, and so I grew up in a really athletic family. I ended up going and playing a little Division I baseball at Centenary College, Louisiana, and after that, I had a really brief stint in minor league baseball, and that's kind of where it led me to where I'm at today with the Athletes Brand. During my first spring training this last year, I kind of hit a crossroads. I did 18 months of rehab after college baseball for my back, the back injury I had while I was in college. And during that time, that was the first time that I've ever had time to myself to develop a new passion. So it's always my entire life. It's been year-round baseball, or in high school it was football and baseball. So I never had time away from sports. So during that 18-month rehab, they didn't allow me to do anything at all. So rehab meant nothing. I was like, no physical activity is nothing. So that gave me a lot of time really to myself. And my brother Trevor, he's an entrepreneur. He when he got done playing college baseball, he started up his own businesses. And today he's one of the most renowned internet marketers in the world. So he is a great kind of mentor to have and keep my spirits high and whatnot during the time that I felt like I had nothing to do. 18 months to yourself as a baseball player is a lot of time to yourself.
Yep.
So during that time, it was one of those times where I hit a little wall where I wanted to, I guess it brought the question in mind, is this 18 months of me doing nothing right now really worth it? And my answer was no, just because when I look at myself 30, 40 years down the road, and I'm looking back and kind of reflecting on my life, and just me personally, I didn't feel like all the stats and accomplishments in baseball, the championships, and accolades, I didn't think they meant anything to me. And everybody's got their own personal opinions on those kind of things, but to me, it's a meaningful life meant leaving some kind of legacy on the world whereas you can make a difference and help people. I believe everybody has the ability to help somebody else. So I wanted to start something where I could give back and help people. And when I came back for spring training, I kind of already started Athletes Brand a little bit before spring training. But when I came back and I'm talking to guys about it and sharing with other players about what I've got going on and everything, and asking them how I could get this kind of more involved into a charity kind of aspect thing. And I started to realize that athletes really don't know how to get out there and help charities. They don't know how to use the power of influence for the most part. Mm-hmm. And guys they get dogged a lot for not giving back. And the fact of the matter is, though, is that you're not taught that when you get drafted. You're taught how to play the game. You're not taught how to use your power of influence, and your power of influence that's so powerful. To give back and help people out. So that's kind of where it all tied in from my sports career. Quickly ties into Athletes Brand and how Athletes Brand is today, where we help give back and help athletes raise money for their charities.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's such a great concept too. And like you said, no one teaches you how to give back. I mean, it's just one of those things you kind of have to acquire, and you guys are definitely a great platform for that. So can you talk specifically just a little bit more about Athletes Brand and what you guys are doing with the athletes?
Of course. Athletes Brand's a high-end off-field apparel brand. It's 100% made by and for athletes. And what we do is we partner with an athlete for about 2 weeks at a time. So I'll use our current athlete, Allison Baver. She's an Olympic speed skater. And so currently we partner with Allison. She helps us design a shirt, something more towards her taste and more towards the culture that she's a part of at the time, And for 2 weeks at a time, we raise money and awareness through that shirt for a cause of her choice. This time it just so happens to be that it's her own charity, Off the Ice Foundation. She started it to help kids in the inner city be able to get on the ice. And that's not something that a lot of people have an opportunity to do, especially if you don't have money. You got to be able to get in the rink. You got to be able to afford skates. So they don't donate skates to kids. And other athletes, I'll use Brandon Barnes as another example, as a charity that he's not a part of. So Brandon Barnes, for 2 weeks, Pediatric Cancer Research Foundation, he wanted to donate to that because his little brother suffered from pediatric cancer. So for 2 weeks, Brandon hand designed his own shirt, and got Major League Baseball, all of his buddies really involved. We started getting all of our athletes, NASCAR drivers, NFL players, basketball players, all these people come together, share, retweet the posts about the cause and the posts about the shirt, and it really spreads the word throughout each other's communities. So I guess when you break it all down, yeah, we've got the apparel part of it, where we really focus, and all of our stuff is designed by athletes to tailor towards more an athlete's build and be more comfortable for their long flights and bus rides. But when you break it all down, what Athletes Brand is a community of athletes that we've kind of built to come together and help each other get the word out about causes they're really passionate about through each other's networks. So baseball players have they can get in with other baseball players and get their word out, Mm-hmm. But you don't always cross paths with tennis players or with NASCAR drivers. So that's where you really start to tap into a larger network. And it's a kind of a domino effect of networks that you're getting into.
No, that's very good. I mean, it's huge for these guys to use their platform for the greater good, and definitely an awesome vehicle for that, for sure. So there was a couple other things you have going on. I know that recently you're in a contest with GoDaddy that was spotlighted on the Super Bowl. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, this is a really wild ride. January, I believe it was 11th. Yeah, January 11th. It's funny because 11th's my lucky number. You'll see that pop up all the time in Athletes Brand stuff. But 11's my lucky number. January 11th, me and my brother. Currently, I'm working for Carrot, and I'm using Carrot as a way to fund Athletes Brand. You don't get paid a lot in baseball, and then when I left college, that's always my goal, is to kind of have that company where you can give back. So my brother Trevor, he kind of gave me this dilemma on January 11th saying, hey man, I need somebody to do our head of marketing for the company, and I know that you're not going to be here in the next few months. He goes, I got to give you a dilemma. So April 1st, he's going to let me go so I could go full-time Athletes Brand, put all my attention into it. Mm-hmm. So that was that day. The very next day, Sunday, I get an email from GoDaddy. I never entered any contest or anything like that. That next day I get an email from GoDaddy, read through it, said that they're going to give 50 grand and kind of put you in give you some advertising, I guess, what you'd say. Okay. So I did an interview the next day. That rolled to an interview on Thursday. And then Thursday night got an email saying that I have a flight Saturday morning to fly out to North Carolina for this contest. So I'm out there. There's 5 other businesses, Athletes Brand, and 4 other businesses, actually. And the whole thing's mysterious. They didn't tell us anything about what's going on. We do a pitch. All they said is that we're going to pitch to a GoDaddy rep. So Sunday, I did a practice pitch in front of the cameras, a little interview with the director and whatnot. And then Monday, so this is all within 8 days that everything happened. Monday, we get bused to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Get out, cameras all over the place, did some interviews, go into the media room, and I was the last one to leave the room. I'm hanging out with all the other contestants. So leave the room, the golf cart drives me and my brother up to the track. And we're thinking that we're going to have some time to set up for this pitch, about 20, 30 minutes maybe. I got a duffel bag just full of Athletes Brand gear and banners and get out, and the camera's already on, the host is already rolling, and she says, all right, you have 2 minutes to set up your pitch. And she says, go. So we set it up just frantically. I have this banner with Mike Trout and Howie Kendrick and CJ Wilson holding up Brandon Barnes' shirt. So I wanted to make sure that was up there so people could see it. And so I spent the entire 2 minutes setting up this banner. So we barely got time. Then the host says, all right, let's bring out the GoDaddy rep. The car comes whipping around the side, and Danica Patrick gets out of the race car. And so the very next thing is, all right, here's what you're going to do. You can grab anything you want, put it on your lap, and you've got 4 laps to pitch your business to Danica Patrick. And at this point, it's when it hits you and you realize it's going to be a commercial, kind of a Super Bowl thing. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of cameras all over the place. And so I pitched my business to Danica Patrick from the passenger seat of her car for 4 laps. And
Crazy.
yeah, so that just kept tumbling. That was all part of GoDaddy's Super Bowl ad campaign. February 17th, the commercial star and all the contestants start rolling for GoDaddy. And so right now we're in the phase of where it's up to America to vote for their small business. And Athletes Brand's the only sports-oriented business in it. We're the only apparel-oriented business. And we're one of 2 social good companies that are in the contest. So there's some awesome contestants, some awesome businesses that are part of this. Love everybody that's in this. But of course, I've got to be able to like plug myself. It's all up to us to get the votes, you know.
Sure.
So we got to do whatever we can to get it out there, and that's something where once again I'm really seeing the sports community come out. Really seeing all the athletes come out, like Sergio Pena, NASCAR driver. He's been plugging us like crazy. Brandon Barnes is retweeting all of our stuff, the Rockies, and so we've got some really cool backing going on right now. But all of that's going on at thebigleap.com, and you can vote for me at godaddy.com/Kyle. So that's my personal vote link. But if I were to say why should you vote for me, it's 100% because I truly feel like this is bigger than my dream. Winning this contest is definitely bigger than my dream. It's about getting this company to the point of where we can give back at the platform that we need to.
Yeah.
Right now we're doing some cool things, but winning this contest would put us over that hump. You know, it'd really be able to make us get that impact on charities that we really wanted to.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like it's a really good opportunity for you guys to hoist the Athletes Brand name up there and get a lot more people involved. And at the end of the day, it's helping out charity. So that's super awesome. We're totally excited to be, involved with it too. And we're going to plug all your stuff in the show notes of the interview too. So we'll make sure we put all that stuff in there so people can get to it easily.
Awesome, man.
Cool. So Kyle, let's talk a little bit more. You mentioned, a time where you had to kind of face adversity. Can you talk to us a little bit about that time, just a little bit more in detail and kind of how it made you stronger?
Yeah, I mean, when just getting taken away from the game for a couple days or one practice, athletes can relate to that when you're told by your trainer that you shouldn't practice today. It's even worse if you can't play today. But if you can't practice today, that kills you. Mm-hmm. Unless coach tells me that I can't practice and you're going to sit down, I'm still going to try to practice. So being told that I can't play for 18 months, instantly I was thinking, all right, I'm done. I'm done with baseball. There's no way I could go back after 18 months. I've never had time off. So it was depressing. It was definitely a depressing time. I felt like I could do things, but the opportunity wasn't there basically. It's post-college. I can't go back to college and play. Mm-hmm. The pro ball team is saying you can't play for 18 months. You're done. Come back and we'll do spring training at the end of this thing. So it was a helpless feeling. So I needed something to cover my time. And it's Trevor, my brother. He let me intern with him for a little bit. And I also started a company, Gloves Off Sports, during that time. And that was a sports marketing company. Really got a network with a lot of guys because of that. Lewis Howes, a big sports networking guy. Chris McKinney of Sports Launch Magazine. I ended up getting picked for 30 Under 30 for Chris McKinney's magazine around that time. And so I started to develop a little passion for entrepreneurship. But I wanted something that I could fall in love with. I was still in love with baseball. I liked doing marketing, but I still loved baseball. And it's one of those times where you're just laying in bed at night and you're thinking you just can't fall asleep. And I just started thinking, what am I doing here? Like, why am I not fully investing into this opportunity, which was Gloves Off Sports? It was a great concept. It was moving quickly and people were backing it really well. And I wasn't passionate about it. I still couldn't stop thinking about baseball every day. And that made me think about, well, what is so important about baseball to me? And to me, it was definitely it was the love of the game, but it was mostly the guys. It was the camaraderie. That's what I really missed. And I still definitely miss that. I miss the guys. I miss the bus trips, the things that you complain about while you're playing.
Sure.
And but I also realized that it wasn't that important in the grand scheme of things. And I know a lot of guys are going to cringe when they hear that, but once you step away from the game for a while, and you fall in love with something else that you can say you're in love with as much as that sport that you love so much, I guess you finally kind of realize that. But yeah, I mean, that big point of adversity was looking back and thinking, is the stats or is making it to the major leagues really that important to me? Is it that important in the grand scheme of things? And what was important to me was doing something important that would make a difference in the world. And I didn't think that I was good enough. I didn't know if I'd ever make it to the major leagues. I never will know.
There you go.
And I felt like at that time, spring training, I made it to the pros. I did really well, and that was good enough for me because I started to realize that I have this new passion, athletes brand. And it was 100% because of spring training that I realized that passion. It's talking to the other guys and having them talk about, man, I really want to help the charity. I want to back you. I want to back this brand, like your guys' concept. And it was other people's love, it was the players' love for what my idea was that really gave me that passion that kind of overcame my passion for baseball. That makes me never look back and miss it. So that was that point of adversity where I really needed to switch gears and loved it and haven't looked back since. So
awesome, man. So you talked about, obviously the passion really drives you. What other factors do you attribute to your success?
I would say one of the big factors is where I grew up and how I grew up. Grew up in a really small town in Klamath Falls, Oregon. Not many people have heard of it. We had to really, really work for everything that we had. We were the smallest 3A school in the state. And we won our state championships my freshman and sophomore year. And it was mostly freshmen and sophomores both years. My dad, he grew up a farmer, and he had to do it the same way. He didn't go to the gym. He was digging ditches, So I definitely say that a lot of my success has to come with where I grew up and how I grew up, but also sports. Mm-hmm. The things that you're taught in athletics carries over into business. Like I'd say most everything that I owe is because of sports, to my business knowledge. It's the way that I talk to people, the way that I carry myself, the decisions that I make, are because of what my coaches have taught to me, my respect for other people. So yeah, I'd say it's definitely where I grew up and how I grew up. So contributed that to my family and then also to my coaches and sports in general. So
terrific. Yeah, you definitely develop, a special work ethic too from the sports, and that absolutely carries over into your professional career. So mm-hmm. I definitely understand that. Now, Kyle, it may be hard to narrow it down to 3, but can you name 3 people that you admire and why you admire them?
I can definitely start with my brother Trevor. Man, I know I've talked about him a couple times in all the GoDaddy interviews. His name's in there a lot. That's because he really believed in me. I ended up leaving college early too, and he was kind of gave me that inspiration to do that, and also my inspiration for business and just the way that he handles himself. He's got 2 kids. He's got a wife. He's got this full family, and he's also building his own businesses and just to see his work ethic, the way that he treats people, and the things that he does is so inspiring to me. Then my dad, of course, he's one of the hardest working people I've ever seen. He'd come home 6, 7 o'clock at night. He's got his own business, a rental construction company, and his work ethic and the things that he's gone through and the things that he's accomplished from what he's been given. He's started a really, really small town. Really, really big family, but a farm family, so it's not a rich family. And he was able to work his way up and make it to the pros from a place that you wouldn't expect a pro athlete to come from. My mom for dealing with three boys. Well, it's
God bless mom for 3 boys. That's right.
When I look at things and people that inspire me, everybody that inspires me, it's because of their work ethic and what they've had to go through. It's not necessarily their accomplishments, but the way that they handled the things that they've gone through.
Right.
And my mom she'd be bringing me and my other brother to practice at the same time and trying to catch both of our games at the same time, and going home and then cooking us dinner, and it's insane how much that she's done. But yeah, it's definitely that I'd say I'm definitely a family guy, obviously, and the people that I looked up to are my family. So
that's awesome, and it's obviously very prevalent in your life, your family life. So that's really cool to hear. Kyle, so as we progress, right, and you have future goals and dreams, and a lot of these I'm sure are around Athletes Brand and you personally, what are your future aspirations?
Short term, I really believe that Athletes Brand can raise $3 million in the next few years. And that's not an outrageous statement. It might sound like it, but you look at other companies that have similar business models, 7lee.org, they're an awesome company. They do the same thing, and they've done that feat on a smaller scale. I believe athletes have the bigger power of influence. They can reach more people and make a bigger long-term difference and a bigger network. So I really think that that's plausible. Definitely long-term goals are kind of focused around family and business. I really want to be able to move back to Oregon, and I think winning this contest will allow me to do that. I want to make my headquarters out of Oregon. Right now I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay.
But that's definitely one of my goals, is to be able to get back there so I can be closer with my family and whatnot, and also help bring jobs to Oregon through my business. But also the difference that I know that Athletes Brand can make, not just with the charities and whatnot, but for future generations, by our athletes kind of inspiring kids to, not even inspiring, but showing kids that it is cool to give back. And athletes do like to give back and use their platform to help their communities. So I think that's something that's kind of pushed to the side right now, that I really think that as a long-term goal, when you start bringing in the next generations, I really think that we can help kind of be that stepping stone for other companies to follow us and really create a big impact future, kind of more down the line.
Yeah, no, that's great. And on Behind Sports, we absolutely love to hear about great athlete stories and how they give back, because, like you just kind of mentioned, I think a lot of the time you hear about the negative stuff and you don't hear so much about the positive stuff. So getting a platform for that positive stuff is extremely important. So I definitely applaud what you guys are doing.
I appreciate it.
All right, man. So as we wrap up, last question. If you were to go back and talk to the 18-year-old version of yourself, what advice would you give?
Man, 18-year-old version. 18-year-old version was probably the version that ended up making my back so bad to the point of where I had to take the rehab, But I hope that there's other athletes watching this, and it's one of the biggest pieces of advice that I could ever give. It's not businessy; it's 100% sports, and that's if you're hurt, don't feel like you have to sack up and be the tough guy all the time. A lot of the times you do need to, but if it's a serious injury, don't try to play through it. That was something that really impacted my college career. I had an opportunity to go to some pretty big schools, and I just couldn't make it through a season because I'd keep trying to play through this back injury. And for 7 years, from freshman year of high school when I first hurt my back, all the way through college, every year I'd start off doing really well. That's probably why people didn't drop me, because I started off doing really well, but halfway through the season, my game just started declining. And yeah, don't feel the need to power through things all the time. If it's not a true injury, definitely be tough and make it through. If it's just running and you're tired, but if it's true injury, definitely listen to the doctors, sit out, take time to rest, and the big leaguers do it too.
Yeah,
once the smartest athletes know when to stop. So know when to stop.
Cool, man. Well, thank you very much. And one more time, can you tell us where we can find you online?
We're at athletesbrand.com, and you can vote for us in the contest. It runs through March 2nd. Danica Patrick will announce the winner at the end of the Phoenix NASCAR race on March 2nd. And my vote link is godaddy.com/Kyle, Kyle. And you can check out all the other contestants at thebigleap.com. And yeah, that's where you can catch me.
Cool, man. Kyle, thanks again for coming on. Appreciate it. Best of luck. And we'll talk to you again soon, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, you too.